Recently, there's been a lot of UFC fight announcements, including a big fight announcement that I broke down in my last video, Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shahbazyan, but there's way more. There's way more fights. Let's break down all of them, starting with the long-awaited return of Tristan Connelly as he takes on Alex de Silva in an event that's yet to be determined on April 11th in the US. I look forward to hearing where that event is going to be. Nice to know that they're building more cards, keeping a busy schedule, but we got Tristan Connelly making a big return after his amazing upset win over Mikel Pereira. I think he blindsided everyone. We saw him as a pasty old white man against this monster in Mikel Pereira, and turns out all those backflips have an effect on your cardio. And Tristan Connelly got the job done. I look forward to seeing him get back in there. I'm sure he's going to be a hardcore fan favourite if he keeps pulling off big wins. And I think he is going to pull off a big win over Alex de Silva. I'm a real believer in Tristan Connelly. He's changed my mind. Okay? I'm looking forward to seeing him get back in there. Moving on. We already broke this one down, but I'll give a little rough analysis on this video. Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shahbazyan to UFC 248. Looking forward to the fight, man. UFC 248 needed some love. I thought either one of these guys could be a short notice replacement for Whittaker, who pulled out of his fight versus Cannonier, but they've decided to match these two up together, which makes me think that Darren Till might be the man to take on Cannonier at UFC 238 or 248. Because Darren Till's calling him out on Instagram, which will make a very interesting card. But Derek Brunson, Edmund Shahbazyan, very interesting. Looking forward to it. You've got Derek Brunson coming off two decently good wins over Elias Theodorou and can't remember the other guy's name. Ian Heinisch was the other guy that he beat most recently at the main card of UFC 241. You've got Edmund Shahbazyan, of course. Just been fucking running through the entire division. Last beat Brad Tavares in a big fucking breakout performance with a massive head kick KO. I'm looking forward to seeing Shahbazyan plant one straight on Derek Brunson's chin. But if Brunson can win, listen, Brunson's on a 3-fight win streak in that case, and he has his own right to start challenging some of these top contenders. But the winner of this fight, most definitely, is going to be getting a top 5 opponent next. So I look forward to it. I'm putting my bets on Shahbazyan because history tells me that a streaking contender always flattens Derek Brunson on the chin. I feel like Shahbazyan's going to be the guy to get it done. Moving on. Laureano Strapoli versus Phil Rowe. Phil Rowe coming off the Contender Series. Laureano Staropoli last lost to Maybek Taisumov, if I'm remembering correctly. Well, didn't give a bad performance there, to be fair to him. I think I'm remembering correct with Laureano Strapoli. I can't remember exactly, but this is a great fight. I'm looking forward to it. UFC Columbus is stacked and packed, full of great fights. This one's going to arguably probably be on the prelims. We're done with UFC Columbus, I hope, because we need to start filling some other cards. And we're putting too much on UFC Columbus. I know it's an ESPN TV card, but Jesus Christ, can we lay off putting all these amazing matchups on UFC Columbus? Either way, I'm looking forward to Laureano Strapoli's return. Maybe he can get a bounce back in the win column. Or we could see Phil Rowe, the contender of the Contender Series, establish himself in the division. Very good fight there. Then we move on. Ketlen Vieira makes her return after UFC 250 against Marion Renault on the main card of UFC 250. Wait, 245 she was last on. She's returning to UFC 250 in Brazil. The Brazil pay-per-view. I'm assuming this is going to be somewhere on the prelims. I look forward to it. Brazilian fighters on a Brazilian pay-per-view. I mean, it's the best thing you can do, because if they're not a Brazilian fighter and they're fighting in Brazil, they'll be killed before sunset. And that's how things work. I look forward to Ketlen Vieira's return. She's coming off a KO loss just in December. So we'll see how that goes with a quick turnaround. I mean, Irene Aldana flattened her real bad. So I look forward to her return. Ketlen Vieira, hopefully she comes back and gets the job done. She's a dominant fighter before her last fight, so we'll see if she can turn back the clock. Moving on. A fight that was recently cancelled. Grant Dawson versus Chaz Skelly has been rebooked for UFC Norfolk. UFC Norfolk initially to me was looking like an absolute dog shit card, but when you look at the card now, full of fun contender fights, and I'm assuming that Chaz Skelly versus Grant Dawson won't even make it to the main card. Because, you know, female featherweights get on main cards for some reason, even though they could be 0-2 in the female featherweight division. They're still top 5. That's how the female featherweight division works. Grant Dawson versus Chaz Skelly. Amazing fight. I look forward to seeing it. Grant Dawson had problems with USADA. They said it was the same problem that John Jones went through. I feel like I'm starting to get I'm starting to come around to these, the more and more people that pop for the same thing that John Jones did, I'm starting to come around to these things, you know, I'm starting to believe USADA a little bit more, because the people that they're bringing up, I mean, Sean O'Malley is not on steroids, okay? There's one guy that's not on steroids, it's Sean O'Fucking-Malley, okay? I'm starting to believe USADA more and more. I'm giving Grant Dawson a pass. They've turned him around real quick for UFC Norfolk on February 29th. Looking forward to the fight. I still think he gets it done over Chaz Skelly. Chaz Skelly, since the last fight, is only getting older. I feel like he's going to get the job done. Grant Dawson, an entertaining guy to look out for. Can he go 3-0 in the UFC? That's the big question. Or will Chaz Skelly turn back the clock? Moving on. Another long-anticipated return. Wow, this is weird. Within the same week, we've got Tristan Connelly, a long-anticipated return after a big upset victory in his UFC debut. And now we've got Karma Worthy, a long-awaited return after a huge upset victory in his UFC debut. Ottoman Azaitar is his opponent, though. Ottoman Azaitar versus Karma Worthy. Brooklyn, UFC 249. I'm assuming this is going to be somewhere on the prelims. Not the early prelims, but Jesus, this is a decent fight. I wonder, is Karma Worthy as good as the one punch that he landed on Devontae Smith behind the ear? Or is Karma Worthy what we thought he was and complete trash? Because Ottoman Azaitar is a fucking freak, okay? And I worry for people that step in the ring with him. I'm probably going to go with Ottoman Azaitar here, but if Karma Worthy can pull off another upset, this would be the time to do it. Maybe Karma Worthy makes a habit of these things. Maybe he wins his fight versus Ottoman Azaitar and then immediately schedules himself for the title and wins an upset there. Who knows what Karma Worthy is able of? We'll see. But I think Ottoman Azaitar takes that win. That's a great fight for UFC 249. Amazing fight. Amazing fight for the card. Moving on. Jack Shaw makes his long-anticipated return to the octagon, from my end anyway. Apparently not according to this website, because it's got the least likes out of every single fight announcement. I'm looking forward to see Jack Shaw return. He's returning against Geraldo de Freitas Jr., which I'm looking forward to. Geraldo de Freitas Jr., not the best guy in the UFC, but still a guy who's been in the UFC and been around. Can Jack Shaw get the win? I believe he can. Can he make his win streak 25 since beginning his career as an amateur? Can he go 25-0? Pro and amateur combined. Never lost a fight. We'll see if he can get it done. I believe he will. Jack Shaw is the man to fucking look out for right now. So if he gets a big win here, let alone a finish, we could be looking at the new bantamweight contender. And I look forward to seeing him progress. Jack Shaw, amazing fighter. Moving on. Randa Marcos is taking the place of Paige Van Zandt versus Amanda Ribas at UFC Brasilia. Equally as fuckable. To be honest with you, Paige Van Zandt fell out. It may be even more fuckable from Randa Marcos. So I'm okay with this fight. Hopefully there's a lot of grappling. This was amazing. Amazing stuff. Amanda Ribas seems excited about it. She posted on the post of the fight being announced. I'm looking forward to it. UFC Brasilia has a fight saved. Maybe this one can go on the prelims now that Paige Van Zandt is out. Headline the prelims perhaps. Make room on the main card for some real fucking talent. Because I know that card is so stacked that some of these guys are going to get shifted to the prelims by default. Maybe now that Paige Van Zandt's out, we can get this one as the headliner of the prelims and shift some of them talented fighters onto the main card. But I look forward to this one, man. I really do. Jesus Christ, Paige Van Zandt broke her arm again, did she? 3 in a row. Just stop throwing spinning out. I don't know what to say, to be honest. Just stop throwing spinning back fists. Listen, I don't know what happens. Every time I throw a spinning back fist, I break my arm. Maybe don't throw them. I don't know. Like, is there anyone in her gym telling her these things? I don't see how she's breaking her arm this often, to be honest with you. Either way, moving on to something a little bit more interesting. Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Cyril Gane. Not the fight I would have made next, but either way, an exciting fight. Shamil is nobody's fool. Cyril Gane is a fucking giant man who's very athletic and very powerful and very clean on the feet. I've been picking Cyril Gane every step of his career so far. I'm probably going to end up picking him again as an underdog here. I'm assuming he's going to be an underdog because of Shamil's ability to probably take the fight to a ground. I don't know. Cyril Gane could get fucked. If I was the UFC, I would have made Cyril Gane versus Augusto Sakai. I think that's a much better fight, a much more even fight, and a much more winnable fight for the prospect in Cyril Gane. But they want to throw him into the fire at UFC 249. I'm down. Put him in a good position on the card. I'm down. Ciryl Gane's getting the exposure that he deserves. Finally, he's going to make it onto a pay-per-view event. He's been prelims of fight nights over and over and over again, giving great performances. Now he's going to be on the prelim of a pay-per-view. He's moving up in the world. I'm looking forward to seeing him perform. I think he's going to get it done over Shamil. But I say that with very hesitant. I'm very hesitant about that. Because Shamil could come out there and just fucking ragdoll him. And then all of a sudden we've got a Francis Ngannou 2.0 and we realise that, hey, just shoot a double leg. We'll see how things go. I'm rooting for Ciryl Gane though. I think he gets it done. Moving on. Ciara Eubanks versus Sarah Moras. This is the last fight that's been announced. Also on UFC 249 in Brooklyn, New York. This one's probably going to be on the early prelims, let's be honest. Not very interesting whatsoever. But Ciara Eubanks, I think she's what, 3-3 right now? 4-4? I don't know, man. I just can't. I can't get hyped. Sorry. She's 4-4. I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I'm going to refresh the page and see if there's been any more fight announcements. I know Calvin Kattar versus Jeremy Stevens. They're looking at rebooking that for UFC 249. So right now, UFC 249 is looking raunchy. We'll see if we can get another title fight on there. I think it should be Cejudo versus Yan. They're saying they're going to do Cejudo versus Aldo, which I am furious about. But either way, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button there. I needed to get rid of all these fight announcements because there's been a lot of them. They aren't the best fight announcements. Don't get me wrong, there are some good ones. Some very wonderful ones. I look forward to watching them. But I needed to get rid of these fucking cannon fodder, okay? Just to clear the board a little bit. Great fights. Filling up cards. I look forward to it. Like and subscribe. See you later. Click that there. Goodbye.